Apologies, we are a day late here on TC Game Time Weekly. I'm your host, Dylan Corbett. Been moving around getting things prepped for the winter season because the fall season is rapidly approaching a close. We've already got girls and boys soccer state champions declared. We'll touch on that in just a moment, but we got to start here with football. And I do want to start with saying that the newest episode of the TC Game Time podcast is out. So if you're watching this, make sure to check that out. Randy Shaver joined Logan and myself, and we broke down pretty much an entirety 6A down to 9-man for football previews, analysis, some great stuff there. So please check that out. And that'll be an opportunity for us here to kind of just rush through football a little bit. We got your highlights available that we'll also touch on. And then we'll kind of just quickly touch on volleyball, which we didn't get a chance to do on the podcast. So I will highlight some of the craziness we had in sections as the state tournament is officially underway this week. And of course, football, the state tournament as well, as we are finally here. Can you believe it? We're in November. Happy Election Day. So maybe you are out and voting here on this Tuesday. Don't worry, we are strictly sports here, ready to rock as we dive right into it. So let's go into the bracket here for football as we start at 6A, and just want to touch on kind of the results and preview a little bit. So we've got the only upsets so far here at this point in the state tournament. That would be 2 3 seeds, which have made it this far. Blaine, which Randy Shaver told us was not really that much of a surprise. They're a good football team, and they showed that when they absolutely dismantled Forest Lake. So the 3 seed Blaine takes out Rosemount in a close game, 38-36, and then they just blow out Forest Lake 53-21. That surprised me, but again, Randy kind of educated us and told us, hey, that wasn't too much of a shock if you've been paying attention to the boys from Blaine so far. The other upset is the 3 seed Edina, who just rolled Egan, and that was kind of, you could have possibly saw that on paper going in. It's the second straight game, or rather second game they played each other this year. Edina won the regular season matchup. They win the postseason matchup, but it sets up their great matchup with Maple Grove, who, this was the shock for me, shut out Eden Prairie 34-0. Burnsville put up 6 points. Eden Prairie could not. Again, it's the tale of two totally different games, but man, Maple Grove really came in and continues to just cement statement after statement as they are now 10-0, and it doesn't get any easier. It's now on to Edina. And then you look at the top of the bracket, and you're maybe going to be facing Shakopee, right? As you look at Moundsview, the 1 seed gets it done against Prior Lake. A 2-point conversion was the difference there. And Moundsview, the 1 seed, takes care of Prior Lake in a game that we kind of thought maybe the Lakers could take. Moundsview escapes 28-27, but they are going to be set up for the Shakopee Sabres, who have now beat their 2 opponents in the postseason here by a combined score of 98-13. But of course, a little bit of an easier path as they got Eastview, the 7 seed, and then STMA was the 6-3 upset over Stillwater, and that was 42-6. And we've got the highlights here for you right here.
Here on second down, it's going to stay with Forsberg on the toss, cutting around the edge and lunging his way into the end zone for the Sabre score. Perfect on extra points. On 3rd and goal, it's Forsberg on the toss to the outside edge and for the goal line, and a touchdown for the Sabres. For the Sabre defense. 3rd down, out of the backfield, Forsberg, delayed handoff, will take it himself, and Forsberg cuts away from some defenders and will waltz into the end zone. 2nd and long now for Shakopee. It's Forsberg out of the backfield. Here's a burst of speed right up the middle and tumbling into the end zone for a Shakopee touchdown. Second round state tournament playoffs. Sabres win today would put them at 6-0 on the season from Vaughn Field. And on the delayed handoff, caught the defense off looking. It's Zach Doctor who's away with it out from midfield, and he won't be caught. Sabres with the touchdown. He's going to be pleased with a second round playoff win here tonight.
So that sets up Moundsview and Shakopee. That'll be at Spring Lake Park on Friday. All of these games, I beg your pardon. So that'll be on Friday. Lakeville North and Anoka also on Friday. So let's dive into that quadrant right here. Champlin Park pulls the 5-4 upset over Eastridge 24-22, and it gives Lakeville North a go. 17-13 the final there. The Panthers win. They've won kind of ugly, if you can say that. They've won some battles and they continue to move through their quest for a state title. They're getting healthier along the way. Injuries have been a factor this season, but they've still persevered. And in Lakeville South, they were forced to throw a lot as they came back late, but could not beat the 2-seed Anoka at their place 35-34. There were some great games in this round. Lakeville South season's over. Anoka continues, and they will face the neutral site match against Lakeville North on Friday over at Farmington. It's Anoka and North in the 1-2 matchup there, which I think is going to be a very intriguing matchup. And then last but certainly not least, Minnetonka against Blaine. Could Blaine keep it going? 1-3. Minnetonka certainly keep it going. They're looking a lot like Shakopee's road here as they are just dismantling folks in route to this point. They have a combined score of 96-14 in wins over Park and then Rochester Mayo, who pulled that 5-4 upset over Centennial. So that's it for 6A. Again, we dove in much more in depth on the podcast, so I encourage you to check that out as we flip now to 5A. Defending state champs Chanhassen, they are in again, and they will have a chance. They are the 2 seed in the South, and we had a great discussion on that as well about the possible road here. So Chanhassen, you begin the season 0-2 in the title defense, but you had to face Elk River and Owatonna. Oh yeah, they're both in the state tournament. So again, the 2 losses there to state tournament opponents. The other loss this season to Mankato East. They checked that box off by getting the revenge game win in the section title. We've got your highlights for you right here. I had the call for you. This thing came down to the wire, but they avenged that regular season beatdown a little bit from earlier.
Gosh. Looking, has time, now takes off, and he's in trouble! Goal line stand, Chanhassen. Chanhassen here, 6 yards to pick up. They've got running back Zielinski in for extra protection. They're going for the end zone. There's a man! Touchdown! This time the throw is perfection to Ty Jensen, who streaks down the middle, gets behind both safeties. And Ramler to throw. Stepping up in the pocket, airing it out. It's a little underthrown, but adjusting for the catch and catching a touchdown. Ty Jensen, second of the game. This one is from 36 yards. Add more stop, and they'll defend their title at state. Gosh. Flushed. Steps up. It is juggled and caught. He found his man, juggled it, and was able to haul it. Tischler. Bush. Got to have it or call a quick timeout. Bush gets the snap, pushes forward, and this time there's no denying he's in. Rushing 3, here comes the hook and ladder, lateral play. Caught, sound for the horn. Ball is still being lateraled. Everyone making sure they're behind. Thrown back, ball's on the ground. Now it squirts to the end zone. Channel just fall on it in the field of play.
So they have checked off the box. They got revenge against Mankato East, defending the section. Now can they defend the state? And it's kind of fitting that they are more than likely going to have to go through, if not one, but 2 of the opponents that they already lost to this year. They overcame Mankato East again in the postseason. Can they do so in Elk River and Owatonna? But that's looking ahead. They've actually got their matchup with St. Thomas Academy here on Saturday. All of these games are staggered on Saturday. 11 a.m. is Robbinsdale Armstrong against Alexandria area, which is going to be a phenomenal matchup. That's at Monticello. And then Osseo is the home of Chanhassen St. Thomas Academy. I will have that game for you. St. Thomas Academy, again, a solid squad, but if you look at like opponents, that's a team that lost to Chaska. And Chanhassen, of course, has the 2 wins over Chaska this season. So if you're looking at like opponents, maybe a little bit favored, certainly for the Storm. I was not purposely, but I ended up at the home of the Storm last night doing some due diligence with our banners there. practice was going on. I'm walking around. It was a business as usual atmosphere. Pretty low key, taking care of business, staying hot, and executing their game plan that they're ready to go this Saturday. Keep an eye on the weather. The good news for the Storm is they are obviously a very potent defense, but they also have the mix of rushing and passing game. So maybe if the passing game is having a little trouble in what's expected to be a wet Saturday, they could lean on the return of Zelensky, who was welcomed with open arms as he got the rushing game going. Of course, Bush has been such a factor for this team now scoring. He scored the game-winning touchdown here in the section title, and of course Ramler doing his thing at quarterback. Interesting to see how Saturday will pan out in the Chanhassen St. Thomas Academy quarterfinal. And what I mean by saying, hey, you might have to go through both Owatonna and Elk River. So with the second seed in the South, Chanhassen, let's say they beat St. Thomas Academy. So that means, let's say that we all go chalk, right? That means that they would be facing Elk River in the semis. And then say you beat Elk River, Owatonna is going to face maybe Robbinsdale, Armstrong, Alexandria area on the other side, and maybe you have to face Owatonna again. So the road is tough still, but there is a chance to go back-to-back for the Storm. And then I encourage you again to check out the TC Game Time podcast as a lot more information from Randy as opposed to me here as we get lower below 5A. So some great insight there all the way down to 9-man football, and we're super excited for the state tournament here. But we've also got the state volleyball tournament going on as well. And how many 5-set matches did we have in those section finals? The key ones, of course, noteworthy. Maple Grove takes out the dynasty of Wayzata. So Wayzata's reign is finally over. We'll have someone not named Wayzata tear down the nets, so to speak, for the first time since 2018. Who was that last time? That was Coach Junker in Champlin Park, who we've had on the podcast earlier this year. They get by Maple Grove. They were down 2-0, storm all the way back. It goes into over 30 points was not enough in the fifth and final set. That goes all the way to 20-18. Champlin Park is in. They are the 2 seed. Who's the 1 seed, you might ask? That's Lakeville South, who takes out Lakeville North, their rivals, to get here. And they are the 1 seed. And perhaps, again, we might see an absolute showdown that would be South against Champlin Park. Lakeville South versus Champlin Park, who have already faced 3 times this year. And that is in favor of Champlin Park, who won the regular season series, of course, facing each other with all those out-of-conference tournaments that you get to face, kind of the cream of the crop of the state, get battle-tested for this time. We'll see who comes out on top, and maybe they don't even get there, right? Because they obviously got to take care of their opponents first. We certainly do not want to take away any credit from what could be, as we still have, your official state tournament finalists. South will have Apple Valley. Incredible story there. Apple Valley getting to state tournament, but they have to face the 1 seed to try and move on. STMA Roseville's the 4-5 matchup. Champlin Park draws Anoka in the 2-7. East Ridge and Minnetonka's the 3-6. So again, it's not the yellow brick road, but certainly could see a 4th matchup this year between Lakeville South and Champlin Park, if that does go according to chalk and seeding, as they are the 1-2. So that certainly was an exciting finish to the sections for volleyball. 5 sets galore, and now we're getting excited for state tournament play, which will have the quarterfinals on Wednesday, the semis on Thursday, and then the final on Friday for 4A volleyball. Football and volleyball ongoing this week, and we'll wrap it up all for you on Monday here on the latest edition of the TC Game Time Weekly YouTube show.